Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
Wow, this is fantastic. Oh man. Welcome back to the channel. I have missed this so much. We are out in a local woodland. This is South Lakes, it's quite local to me. It's one of my favourites actually, and myself and Ian Worth are running a photography tour in May, which is now sold out, and this is one of the woodlands that we're hopefully going to be coming to. But yeah, I haven't been here in a while, and I haven't been out in the rain for quite a while either. And really these sorts of conditions, today especially, because we're getting some really nice atmosphere you can hopefully see there with, I won't even call it fog, it's just atmosphere from all of the falling rain. But look what it does to the woodland. It gives it such a beautiful, dreamlike quality. Oh, that is just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really excited, if you can't tell, for the prospect of any photography we get stuck into today. Oh, look at this. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, so honestly, I've only been in this woodland not even 5 minutes, and I think I'm going to get straight into the photography here. I'm going to use some of the little small falls here in this beck, and then yeah, we've just got some beautiful, look at the background of the trees, they're absolutely gorgeous. Some fir trees, I think, absolute giants. And I think, weirdly enough, because I wouldn't have expected this, I think I'm going to use my wide angle lens to start off with here. Wow, so as is so often the case when you're shooting in sort of close quarters like this within a beck, woodland, it's so intricate, and it's actually really awkward as well, especially when I'm wanting to use my tripod. Shooting, you know, moving water, for me, it's really important to prioritize your shutter speed. And for me, it's usually about 1/4 of a second, and that's exactly what I'm going for here. So yeah, really quite strange to shoot with the wide angle in the woodland. I think I said before, I just chucked it in my bag last minute thinking I probably won't use it, but it's nice to have it. I'm so glad that I chucked it in there now, because this is working perfectly. Oh, I'll tell you what, regardless of how faffy all of this is, it's so much fun. I feel like I haven't been out in the woodland for ages, in the rain, you know, using a tripod, all the things that I'm really enjoying not using. But I think in terms of the process of taking a photograph, comment down below, let me know if you agree with this. Sometimes it's really nice, you know, as much as I love the image stabilization on my OM5 and how it means that I don't have to use a tripod in 99% of situations, it seems, there's something about doing all of this that just feels brilliant. But yeah, as for this photograph, 14mm as wide as I can go. I'll probably crop it in a bit of a 4x5 portrait orientation, obviously, as you can see here. And the polarizer is really important. We're getting rid of quite a lot of the glare from these foreground rocks. And it's really a story of foreground coupled with the background, really nicely married together. It's taken a lot of thought and, like I said, a lot of faffing, but I think I'm going to quite like this one. And then a little bit further upstream, I've got another little idea as well. So yeah, when I was first looking around, I didn't even get my camera out. My bag, I don't know if you can see it down there, just been dumped on the floor, and you know, no camera, no tripod. Really important, I think, when you're working on the initial stages of composition, in particular in the woodland, because it's so finicky and you're messing about so much, and tiny little small movements can make such a big difference to your final image. I find so many of them, yeah, that initial stage of composition is much better doing without a camera in hand and just using your eyes. So like I said, a little bit further upstream here, I think it's a bit further up still, I had another composition, and I think I'm going to give it a try. It was quite different from the last one, and I mean, definitely worth shooting. Look, you can still see up there, We've still got a good little bit of kind of fog or the atmosphere that's lingering around. So yeah, it's worth a go. So I wanted to try and show you here kind of really how much of a difference these small tiny little movements can make in situations like this. So this is the sort of idea for, whoa, this is slippy, for my second composition, all over the place. Oh my gosh, there we go. That was extremely, extremely graceful, was it not? Did you like that? I didn't. So here we go. That, there or thereabouts, is the idea for this next photograph. I think it looks absolutely lovely. I'm just gonna give the polarizer a quick wipe and turn it. See if you can see the difference. There we go. So no polarizer. Look at that rock there. Look how gleamy it is. Look how much it's reflecting all of that light. And as I turn the polarizer, it's quite subtle in fairness, but for me that makes such a massive difference. So yeah, that's the composition. But even there, look, as I've crouched down a little bit, I'm sure you've got a wonderful view of me from back there. Hope you're enjoying it. And yeah, I think that looks even better compared to, look, honestly, that's like 4 inches higher. I want to get low down. I want to really get up close and personal with this cascade down here. But then look at the lefts and rights as well. Look how much of a difference that all makes. And yeah, I just think, see if I can get off here better than I got onto it. I just think all of that makes such a big difference to your final photograph, and it is absolutely worth spending the time being pedantic and really just messing about, winding yourself up sometimes even. I do it, where I'm just like, I just want to get on with this, take a photograph and move on. But I think this is going to be the best photograph of the two from this beck. So lovely and awkward again. This is where I'm going to contradict myself actually and say the OM5 with its wonderful image stabilization would be ideal here, because I wouldn't have to faff with the tripod. Look at the state of that tripod. It's took me ages to get it set up. So I think there's a fine line for me anyway between enjoying the practical side of it and just being able to get the job done and get the photograph. But on the other side of that fine line is enjoying the process of actually messing about with tripods and filters and just really taking your time. Again, you know, let me know what you think about that sort of approach. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Do you prefer that practical approach, or do you prefer, you know, maybe feeling like you slowed down a little bit by messing with tripods and filters and all sorts? I think I'm probably more towards the practical side nowadays, but that could probably change within a couple of months. I'm quite impulsive. But anyway, yeah, I've explained this one quite a lot already. One thing that's important to mention here is the settings. You can see there, I'm actually at 200 ISO, and that's because I need to shoot at f11 and 1/4 of a second. They're both really important here. One for the movement of the water, and one because we've got a lot of depth in this photograph. You can see I'm focusing on sort of this rock down here, I think, in this area. So I've got to be really, really careful with my settings. So I have to just bump my ISO a little bit, bump it up, just to compensate for what I need with these two settings. So I'm going to give the lens a quick wipe. Got my 2-second timer on. This is a good little tip actually. If you've got a little microfiber cloth and it's raining or you're getting splashes from the waterfall, you know, wipe the front like that. As you hit the shutter button, 2-second timer, and then take it off just before it captures the photograph. So yeah, I think this one's probably going to be the better of the two. The only thing I'm thinking about as I'm looking here is I am going to have to consider the fog. I'll show you there, look, it's kind of gone, but like you've seen, it's been drifting through. So I might just chuck my little waterproof camera cover over this and just stand around for 10 minutes or so and see if the fog comes back. Oh, just had a nightmare couple of minutes. Just as I left you with that last photograph, I dropped my video camera. I've got 2 video cameras with me. I'm filming you now off the DJI Action, which I probably should have been using anyway, because it's obviously raining, it's wet. My other camera, the DJI Pocket, it was in this pocket, and I leant forward like that, over the beck, out it came, splop, straight into the frigging beck, into the water. Submerged for a good 7 or 8 seconds whilst I was scrambling around trying to find it, but it's working at the minute. have to see how we get on with that, but could have been worse. Could have been me that fell in. And look at the state of that. Look at that. Have you ever done that, fellow photographers? It's a bit weird, that, isn't it? Fellow photographers, have you ever done that where you get like a little blood blister when you're freaking putting your tripod legs in and you trap some of your skin? Like, oh, so painful. I got absolutely destroyed by it. Anyway, the kind of route that I've chosen is to go up that way into the woods, and I probably will, almost certainly will, come back up this way, but maybe it's just the perspective because we're a bit further away. But look at all that up there, all of that fog. To me, as a landscape photographer out in the woodland, that is what looks most appealing at the minute. So I'm going to head up there. That's the beauty of being out and about, isn't it? When you've not really got any plans, is you just kind of like, oh, it looks a bit better up there. It's the joy of photography in many ways, isn't it? We're out hunting photographs, having a good time. So yeah, I'm going to head up into that fog. As we are heading up, and look at this. This is looking really good, isn't it? I'm proper excited. And as we head up, I'd love to say another massive thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. So simply put, if you've never heard of Squarespace, they are an online platform or a website that you go on, or anyone could go on, to build your own website. And it is so, so easy. They've got loads of beautiful, professional, polished looking templates to get your website up and running. You add a few bits of text and some images. Within a couple of hours, honestly, you will have a website on the go. Now, my own website, henryturnerphotography.co.uk, is through Squarespace, and it has been for several years now. And I'm so proud of it. And not only can you just use your website for a portfolio, if that's what you want as a photographer, you can also sell things as well. And that's exactly, for the most part, how I run my business. I sell products. I sell prints over there. I advertise workshops when I'm running them. I've got my calendar on there when it's the right season. I've got ebooks over there, all sorts. And like I say, you can do that as well. So yeah, we're still fairly early in 2025. If you've got a dream this year to build your own website, I highly, highly recommend Squarespace. On top of that, if you go to squarespace.com/Henry Turner, that will get you a 14-day trial absolutely free. Or click the link that I'll leave in the video description below. And if you enjoy that free trial, make sure to use the offer code Henry Turner at checkout to get a whopping 10% off your first purchase. And make sure you use that link if you're going to do it as well, because it really helps me out. It lets them know that it's me that has sent you, if you use that code and stuff. So yeah, another massive thank you to them, and they come highly, highly recommended from me. So I was going to head up through this gate here, but I don't know, it's just sort of taken us out of the woodland a little bit. It does go back round into it, but I think for now at least, look at these stone walls, by the way. Absolutely beautiful, aren't they? With all of that moss. And so many of you are forever, especially people that aren't from the UK, you're forever commenting on these and saying, why do you keep walking straight past them? Look how amazing they are, look how beautiful they are. And you're absolutely right, you're dead right. But I think for me, as I just get too used to them, that it's easy to, just continuously walk past them all the time. And I've been looking at this one, and this one really is beautiful, isn't it? I was even thinking, I don't know, I was going to grab a shot, nice and simple, mossy stone wall on the left and this kind of gorge on the right hand side, but look at that, it's way too messy. And as you can tell, the fog's kind of lifted a little bit, but like I've said a few times now, and like you've probably seen a few times, it keeps coming in and out. So I'm going to keep the hopes up, but I'm going to go back down to where that bridge was, where I was being a vampire, and yeah, get back to the path that I planned on going up. By the way, it has gone really, really dark now, and with this camera, there's only so much that I can do, so apologies if it's a bit dark. If anything, to be honest with you, it's just a very true reflection, because I'm looking at the back of the camera now. It's a very true reflection of what I can see. It's very, very dark in here, so yeah, if you could try and look at it like that, it's just how it looks in real life. I think that's quite nice, isn't it? I might try a shot here. I love that kind of S-curve of the path as it leads through some of the trees. We've got the bridge, a little bit of stone wall there as well for you stone wall fans. We're all dry stone wall fans really, aren't we? And then yeah, a couple more of these. I think they're big fir trees here, aren't they? Absolutely stunning. So yeah, I reckon it's worth getting the camera out here at least for a look. I want to give it a chance. So I'm not overly fussed or happy with this photograph. Gosh, it's gone so dark, hasn't it? Honestly, that's exactly how it looks in real life. It's yeah, it's a bit of a gloomy day, but yeah, I mean, it's worth taking a shot. It's took me so long to get my camera out, changing lenses. I keep having to wipe the lens every now and again. It's getting to the point where the cloth's getting wet or damp, and I've only got one with me, so that when you wipe the front of the lens, it almost just makes it a bit worse, or smears it a bit, but there you go. Anyway, certainly shooting this one handheld. Hand's killing me as well, where I nipped this little section. Oh, honestly, that is such a classic photographer's problem, that, isn't it? But as for this photograph, I mean, there's really not much to it. It's so simple, just that lovely S-curve that's leading through the woods, and it's probably going from around about here. Is that some rhododendrons there? They're actually quite nice. I'm not usually a fan, but they're adding a nice little bit of vibrancy to this side of the image. And then probably just as far as just to the left hand side of that tree trunk there. It's pretty nice. It's not great, to be honest. I've got so much sky in the top of the frame as well, but we'll grab it anyway. So settings wise, ISO is just on auto, and I'm on aperture priority, and I'm shooting at f5.6, and I'm actually shooting quite wide. I'm at probably about 24mm. And I will probably very, very likely crop this into a 16:9, but I'll step back a little bit. I want a bit more of a gap on the left and right hand side. Focus down there somewhere, and I'm hoping, let's grab the shot. There we go. I'm hoping the f5.6 will just help to blur out the background slightly as the path leads further up the hill and deeper into the woods. But yeah, just a pleasant little photograph to stop and shoot, I suppose. Oh man, do you not just find it so tough when everything starts getting so wet? Oh man, I feel like it's all right at first. You can kind of keep on top of it. Your cloth's nice and dry. Goodness me, but after a while, it starts getting a bit tricky, especially when some of your cameras start falling in water and stuff. Right, I'm going to move on up that hill. So this, through here, gosh, I keep saying it, but it's so dark. I keep looking at the camera. Through this little gap here is a wonderful little vantage point called Jankin Crag. And we should get some really nice views, or maybe not on a day like today, but it's worth a little look. Wow, isn't this beautiful, all this limestone and stuff, and the view, of course. Oh man. Absolutely gorgeous. Jankin Crag, and it absolutely is a crag, isn't it? Crag and a half. Oh, it's lovely. So you see we're getting some nice views over Windermere there, and you know, on a bit of a clearer day you can see a little bit further afield, you can see the Langdale Pikes actually over the other side of Windermere. And I would suggest, if you're going to come here, it's a really good place to come kind of, I don't know, like with a telephoto lens and shooting back over this way towards Loughrig Fell. And yeah, like I said, Langdale Pikes with some really nice views, some really nice telephoto shots to be had. But oh, isn't this just so cool? Saying that, if I just take my time down this section, because I'm sort of on the edge of a little cliff, I just wanted to point out to you this little section here, which is looking back towards Loughrig Fell, but specifically just in that circle that I'm kind of creating there. Look at the layers, look at the mist. Absolutely going to get the telephoto lens out here and have a go at that. So yeah, let's get the old Nikon Z7 out and my beloved 24-200, and I suppose I'll show you in real time what I'm going for. So firstly, yeah, see how I'm like looking now past you. I'm looking and thinking about the shot without doing anything with this, same as before with the Beck. Just because it's a completely different type of photograph doesn't mean my approach to composition is any different. But I'm looking back there thinking, right, square crop, I'm thinking I want to be probably in at 200mm, and I'm thinking I really want to create like that sort of nice compression effect, you know. So definitely need my little soaking wet cloth, and I shall try and show you the sort of thing that I'm going for. So I'm going to have to wipe the lens first and foremost once again. That is the section there. Look at that straight away, how lovely that looks back there with the trees peeking over, and oh yeah, that is just beautiful. And then, like I said, I will probably shoot this in a square crop. There we go. Yeah, that looks gorgeous, doesn't it? So I'll try and avoid any of the buildings and things like that that you can see in the bottom right hand side, maybe even them on the right hand side. Just, well, I think I'm going to have some buildings in, aren't I, by the look of it? I mean, they're going to add a little bit of scale, worst case scenario, but I'll try my best to limit them as to make it feel a little bit more, I don't know, natural. I don't mind the old man-made stuff now and again, but if I can emit it from the photograph, particularly in this case, I'll try my best. So yeah, quite simple. Let's grab the shot now. What I'm going to do here, the only other thing that I haven't said to you is actually pop the camera into DX mode, which is a crop sensor mode, which just gives me a little bit more reach. And there we go. So that was shot at f6.3. ISO is on 200 and 1/1000th of a second. And yeah, a pleasant little photograph. So I was just thinking about that photograph there from up on Jankin Crag. I feel like, I don't know what I've showed you, but I feel like it might have been better in a black and white, just for the pure nature of the shot. You know, there was no light, there was barely any colour anyway, and actually making it into a high contrast. So I'll put them up on the screen now, the sort of colour version. Maybe that was the original one, what I showed you. And then my new idea in retrospect of the black and white version. And yeah, colour or black and white, let me know which one you prefer down in the comments. It's something that I always find so interesting, a photographer's opinion on whether or not something should be monochrome or polychrome, you know. And I find it so interesting because I'm sure there's going to be so many different opinions of it, you know. And I think it depends on the photograph as well. And I feel as if, maybe since the fog has gone, we're nearly back down at that bridge now, look. It's kind of past its sell-by date. That's actually not true. I've just realised I'm completely lying there. You could spend days and weeks in this woodland, but I feel like I've got enough out of it. Do you ever get that feeling as a photographer where you just feel fulfilled, even if perhaps you haven't been out for that long? I just feel like maybe one or two nice photographs, in particular the ones I'm looking forward to seeing down at that beck at the very beginning of the video. But all in all, experience-wise, yeah, I just feel like, yeah, this has been great. I feel really content. And I'm so glad, like I said at the start of the video, you know, that I've come out deliberately in the rain. It's been so long. And it's like a meditative experience, I always feel. Absolutely wonderful. And yeah, I really hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. As always, as well, a big thank you to all of my wonderful Ko-fi members. Cheers for your continued support. And yeah, please drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear from all of you, and thank you so much for all of your wonderful continued support. You've been watching my videos, hitting the thumbs up button, just tuning in every week and commenting. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you on the next adventure. Out.